lift your knee, 1. Sit back, pivot out, parallel higher, lift the front foot, brush knee, 2. Sit back, pivot out, parallel higher, multitask, ear, heel, hand, brush your knee, final. Half step forward, sit back, rock the front foot to your toe, set it on its heel as you play your lute. Today's lesson, repulsing of the monkey. Drop the front hand, center the front hand, drop the front foot, center the front hand, lift as you bring it to the area of ear, stretch on an L stance, meet, slide forward, slide back. Center, higher, lift as you bring it to the ear, stretch out that knee, heel, pivot to the middle, slide as you repulse, 2. Center, higher, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, slide, repulse, 3. Center, higher, glance, lift, ear, toe, heel, modify that step, repulse, final. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so we'll break it down, and this is today's lesson. So watch first so you can match now the key words to what they really mean by my positioning, okay? Let's see. Maybe I'll go backwards so you can see what's happening in the front here. So weight on the back is setting us up for repulsing of the monkey. If we had weight here, we would have to do a quick step to then start here. But we set ourselves up at the end of a transition of playing the lute to now then center. As this hand is already centered, but we call attention to it being centered. It would not be centered here. It would not be centered here. So we have 2 hands veering to the center of our body, helping us with balance. When we then center another time, we start to open that palm, and as this hand, the right hand, starts to go back, then we're allowed to then turn and glance at the top hand. Okay? And then our palms now start to flatten as if it were catching a ball from the top of from the ceiling. So that's a lot of words. Let me try to put it all together as a demo. We're playing our lute. Drop my front hand. As my back or right hand starts to move, I start to move to glance at it. I open to both palms to the ceiling. My weight is always on the back. It never changed. Therefore, I can do this motion. This motion is vital. It's very important because when you bring this to your ear, you're allowed to lift up the insubstantial foot. So the trick or the solution to how to do this safely is to be fully grounded on this back foot. Fully grounded, so I can be a post. I can be a post. This is my L stance. This is my twist. This is my bow stance, bow, arrow. So why am I putting so much emphasis on the L stance? We never do an L stance without stretching out the knee. We do not, or try not to, go this way. I did not stretch out my knee. When we do our Tai Chi walk, twist step, firm down, L stance. Is that knee crunched up? No, we always stretch it out to then allow us to have a better movement of the energy to get into a bow stance. We never come out this way so that the knee is not stretched out. So the logic is, why shouldn't we stretch out this L stance? we should not take it here. This knee is not stretched. To me, if you follow me and understand me, this should give you more safety. Watch again. No difference. Center, higher, glance. Lift up, ear, stretch, toe, back. Okay? So it seems intimidating, but once you practice you'll see the logic. So make sure that the weight now, I cannot emphasize it enough. If you're playing your lute correctly, there's no weight on that front foot. Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there, no weight, and then bring it back. And then remember how well, I guess it was for level 1, but acknowledge that you know that the hands are meeting here rather than just slide this way. Acknowledge that the hands know that they are meeting and then sliding. So here, slide, here, slide, here, slide. Here needs an equidistant. So what you give to the front, you give to the back. And you pause, you set up. Weight is always on the back. For demonstrating there, I did not have it all on the back, but if I were in movement, it surely would be in the back. Okay, so let's try it and then we can still refine it. We're at playing our lute. One foot on the line, the other foot on the other line, opposite. Drag the right foot back, 45 degree it, bend, bend, bend. Okay, so you know that it's not too much. All right, now we're playing our lute. And I guess what I did is I brought my left foot in rather than out because I'm centered. Weight on the back, right? Drop the front foot, center the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, stretch, toe, heel, zigzag it out to the middle, straighten up, repulse 1. Center, glance at the higher hand, weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball of your foot, forward and back. Center, glance higher, weight on the back, of course, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, acknowledge, pull back, slide forward. Last one, center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance, okay? And then we grasp the bird's tail, which is a given for Yang 10 form and 24 as well as 16. All right. So we're going to tag on now a modification on the last repulsing of the monkey. You know that when we repulse the monkey, unlike other movements, it's done more than 2 times. It's done 4 times, okay? Just the way it's set up to be. So this is what I try to help you with. On the last, this is a 3. On the last repulsing of the monkey, watch the foot that is in the front. It does something here. It tries to be now perpendicular to that original line of when we set up our lute. Because what we want to do is pull back, pull forward. We want to be able to then turn without moving our feet or foot to grasp the bird's tail. So once again, because that was hard to kind of see, I'll give you a back view, okay? And I'll call attention to it. One, 2, 3, Okay, so the key is now when the front foot is placed downward, it takes this position. It takes this position because we want to end up this way. Okay? That back foot, which is the front foot, always takes a 45. But the last or fourth repulsing of the monkey, it takes a 90, so that a 90 degree rather than a 45, it takes a 90 so that you can ward off. Okay, let's try. All right. Forward, playing your lute, sitting on that stool, dropping your front foot, center of the front hand, glance at the back hand that's higher, lift up as you bring it to the ear, stretch out. Center, higher, lift, stretch out. 2, center, higher, glance, lift. 3, okay, center, higher, lift, position the foot on its toe, swing closer to a 90-degree repulse of the monkey. So now you should have like an L stance, I would say. Actually more than an L stance because your right foot is parallel to the line of the floor or on a line or a 90-degree to allow us then to turn towards the roadside, reposition our hands to hold our ball, to ward off. Here we go. Out onto the L, push your opponent away. So do you see that that foot was set up nicely? Turn hips and waist. How do I turn my hips and waist? How do I reposition my hands? Do I just then take this swoop down because I need to get back? No. What do? You sit back, sit down. The hands go for the ride. You contact. You bring it to your center then to power out. Roll back. How do you roll back? You drop your shoulders. Do you see where my hands are? They're at least below or slightly at my hip level. Then I power up and then out. Hands definitely go for the ride, okay? So yes, that's next week's lesson, but yes, we can see what's coming up and how we're going to prepare ourselves in the formation that we take. Okay, so those of you who are rather new to the 24, take it in the bigger picture. Know that there are many refinements that we have to do, but we'll get there, okay? But know that they're out there, and I'm giving you the full-on picture of how, or instructions of how to do it. All right, this time we're going to play our lute and we're going to go sideways, okay? Just like how we would do yang 10, yang 24. So I'm going to stay ahead of the class, okay? So if you folks can give me a little move back to your right, okay? 2 feet on 2 different lines. Drag the right or back foot to a 45. Play your lute. Bring it in a little bit more if it's too wide a span. Drop your front foot, center your front hand. Glance at your back hand that goes higher, open. Lift, ear, toe, heel, heel. Pivot on the ball of your foot. Slide forward, slide back. Center, glance at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet in the center as you pivot, slide forward, slide back. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet in the center, pivot, slide. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Center, higher, glance, up, ear, toe, heel, meet, slide. Last one. So we're going to modify the front foot. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, modify, meet, slide. Then look at your feet or feel your feet. Did you modify it enough? Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay, so that's what you should practice as a drill. It's not easy because there are many little details that you have to pay attention to. But for you right now, get the bigger picture. All right, I want to go over one thing that I didn't really emphasize. When we pivot, we usually pivot on our heel. We pivot on our heel. But in repulsing of the monkey, one heel is not being pivoted, but the ball of our foot is being pivoted. So can I see how you would pivot on a ball of your foot, whether it's your front foot or your left or your right? So you're using the ball or the front portion of your foot to twist or pivot rather than using your heel. So this occurs at four different times. And it's the foot that eventually goes to the back. Oh, it's the front foot. So right here, when you meet both hands in the middle, you pivot on the ball of your foot. Move on the ball of your foot. And to me, that's a safety measure. If you were to then pivot on your heel, you would be giving it too much weight when you're already in a semi-forward position rather than in a back position. So you have to remember to lift slightly off the ground your heel to allow your pivot on the ball of your foot to occur. Okay, so this is our emphasis now. Make sure that that front foot is pivoted on the ball of our foot by lifting slightly off the ground the heel, but not so far off the ground where you need weight on the front wouldn't allow you to slightly pivot. So when we do our forward repulsing of the monkeys, let's emphasize that pivoted ball of our foot, okay? This time, let's just do it in a short way. Come forward a little bit, okay? All right. 4 times at least, okay? Playing our lute. Center. Glance at the higher hand, open. Lift up, ear, stretch, heel. Pivot on the ball as we meet. Slide forward, slide back. Center. Glance at the back hand that's higher, open. Lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball as you lift the heel, meet in the center, slide. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Lift the front heel up as you pivot on the ball, meet in the center, slide. Center, higher, lift, open, lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot on the ball, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance, okay? So right there, I didn't call attention to the last modification of the foot. You saw that my foot and maybe your foot had to make that little turn. So it's a small difference. But if you can remember on the 4th or final repulsing of the monkey, modify that foot so that you already are in line to ward off, okay? All right, any questions? That's a lot of info, a lot of detail. Everybody understand how to do it? Can you see that if you were to time all those elements, that it can be a very safe and pretty movement? Yes? Yeah? But it does take practice. But if we practice without knowing how to synchronize and how to be safe, that would have to be undone to reteach. So we might as well get in all the details first, try to put it together and understand how it's moving in one unit. So essentially, this is what you did. You played your lute, and remember that when you play your lute, the hands are not parallel, but the lower hand is dipped towards your elbow. Weight is always on the back, although I said weight on the back just to remind you. So we also said that when we are playing the lute, we have a pause because it's a transition movement. We think through what needs to be done. We drop our front foot. We center that front hand because our monkey is in front of us. As this back hand starts to move, we can then move with our head and our neck. It's higher, we open, we glance, we lift up, we bring it here, we stretch, down on our heel, pivot at the front, meet, slide forward, slide back. Center, glance, open, lift up as we safety it to our ear, down on our heel, pivot, slide, center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel, pivot on the ball, meet in the center, slide, center, higher, glance, open, lift up, toe, modify. Same thing, although it feels a little different because this foot now is ready to do this. Okay? Try it again, okay? 2 steps forward, playing your lute. Weight on the back, getting better. Trying to put more elements together in a synchronized way. Drop your front foot, center your front hand. Look at the back hand that's higher. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. Meet by pivoting. Slide. Center, glance, open, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot, slide. Center, glance, open, higher, lift up, ear, stretch, heel, pivot, meet, slide. Last one, don't forget the modification. Center, higher, lift up, modify, meet, ball, slide. Hold your ball on a T stance. Okay?